Lonesome Dove is one of the most popular Texas novels of all time, with many millions of copies sold since it was first published in 1985. The miniseries that followed in '89 was the second most popular miniseries of all time, behind Roots.
Remember to hit the like button because it helps us a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the notification bell to not miss the upcoming interesting video.
McMurtry himself called it the Gone with the Wind of the West. Though he was never as much in love with the book as his fans were, he told John Spong in an oral history interview that he didn't understand all the admiration. You know, most writers come to dislike their most popular books, he said. Henry James hated Daisy Miller, which is what he is known by. He's probably written 35 other books. I feel a little that way about Lonesome Dove. Which of his 40-plus books did McMurtry personally like the most? He said in his interview with John Spong that he believed Duane's Depressed was his best book, but just a few years before he died, he said he believed that In a Narrow Grave was his best. Writers are fickle about which of their literary children are their favorites. Whether or not McMurtry felt that Lonesome Dove was his best work, the general public would certainly vote in its favor, based on the millions of books and CDs sold over the past 40 years and the number of bars, hotels, and restaurants named Lonesome Dove, not to mention all the children named for Lonesome Dove characters. McMurtry said he never saw the miniseries. Maybe if he had, he would have better understood how endearingly Robert Duvall, Tommy Lee Jones, Diane Lane, etc. brought their characters to life and made them iconic. They live on today vibrantly as popular memes in social media. As Lonesome Dove has characters that seem to be modeled after real-life historical Texans, many people can't help but wonder if McMurtry endeavored to make this book a genuine history. It's unlikely, and he makes it clear that that was not his aim. Though Call has some attributes of Charles Goodnight and Gus has some attributes of Oliver Loving, they were not modeled precisely after them. McMurtry said the book is not meant to be a faithful history of the era, but rather one that has echoes of those times. He wanted it to reverberate with an authenticity that would ring true. In fact, if he wanted any real accuracy at all, it was to demythologize the life of the cowboy so people could see how brutally difficult their lives were. He said, "A lot of bad things happen in Lonesome Dove, and a lot of them are not nice. They are not civilized. The whole book is permeated with criticism of the Old West from start to finish." Nonetheless, McMurtry confessed that somehow Woodrow and Gus became celebrated heroes for many readers. He said that he didn't understand it, but assumed that a lot of people were nostalgic for the culture of the Old West, though it was a terrible culture. He said the true model for Gus and Woodrow was Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, with Gus being the romantic adventurer and dreamer, and Call being the pragmatic realist. Certainly, one biographical event in the lives of Goodnight and Loving that is enlarged within the book is the death of Loving from an Indian attack. Goodnight returns his body from Fort Sumner, New Mexico, to Weatherford, Texas. In the Lonesome Dove novel, Captain Call takes Gus's body all the way from Montana to Texas, where he buries him in an orchard in San Antonio, a much longer journey with far more drama and mishaps worthy of Ulysses. Blue Duck was a real Indian chief, but McMurtry said that was coincidental. He chose the name without realizing he was a real person, but that is where the similarity stops. All the rest of the Blue Duck character is fictionalized, though his death is without question similar to that of Kiowa Indian chief Santanta. He was incarcerated in the Huntsville Penitentiary and committed suicide by diving headfirst through a third-story window of the prison hospital. Joshua Deets was inspired by Bo Zickard, a longtime cowboy and friend of Goodnight, Though Icker didn't die from an unexpected spearing by an Indian boy, Goodnight did carve a fervent epitaph for him when he died of natural causes in Texas. McMurtry used quite similar words and some of the exact ones when Captain Call carved his epitaph for Deets. McMurtry perhaps felt that he couldn't much improve on that earnest sentiment so poignantly expressed. He wrote, "Josh Deets served with me 30 years, fought in 21 engagements with the Comanche and the Kiowa, cheerful in all weathers, never shirked a task. Splendid behavior." As we read on through the entire LD tetralogy, we do encounter more genuine historical figures, though their biographies are massaged a great deal. People like Judge Roy Bean, John Wesley Hardin, and the ubiquitous Charles Goodnight, who shows up randomly many times in the entire LD four-book saga. He's never very chatty, though, and he's always on the move. One historical moment overlooked in Lonesome Dove was the Transcontinental Railroad. The herd would have been driven across it at some point, and it would have been a big moment for the young cowboys. The last line of the book concerns a reporter exclaiming to Captain Call that people are saying he's a man of vision. He responds with, "Yes, a hell of a vision." This was something that Charles Goodnight actually said in a similar circumstance, referring to all the tough times and horror he had seen as a Texas Ranger and rancher on the frontier.
Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.